We got Cincinnati, Kansas City. Kansas City favored by 5.5. The over/under is 48. Thoughts on this one?
I'm taking KC at home. Like I see no reason why they shouldn't win this game. No T. Higgins. The passing game kind of looked out of sorts last week for Cincinnati. And I think the Chiefs are really on a message or mission, excuse me, here to put themselves in position for a strong three-peat. Like, and they don't look like they want to be messing around with teams. So, big week one win against a Ravens team that they will most likely see again at some point in the playoffs. So it's good to have that home field advantage. But it's just the next step. So I'm taking Kansas City. I'm taking the under. I think just slightly. Typically, I should say typically, but lately these Kansas City games have not been trending towards the over as high powered as this offense is. Everybody kind of gets fed with touches and yardages, and that's how they kind of get fed individually. The touchdowns are not quite as often. Uh, so yeah, I think we come just under this. A push wouldn't surprise me. Like it, it just 20 to 28 would not surprise me. So we'll see how it shakes out. But there's no hook. That's okay. We'll take the under.
Yeah, I like that call. I do think that we're going to see some rather interesting things out of this one, right? The Bengals have seemingly had the Chiefs' numbers the last few times that they've played in the regular season, right? They certainly have kind of held that advantage here. Um, all of that to say that I since he's going to have to do something here, right? Like this last week was just plain bad when it was all said and done. Um, and I'm just not a fan of what we saw come out of that. So I am going to take Kansas City on this one, even though the Bengals have been good as a against the spread on their road games going back a couple of years at this point. This is one of those that at this point I want to see Cincinnati do something with it instead of you know what we saw this last week on a team that we thought they would just push around in Kansas or in New England last year. And one of the props that I liked, I was originally going to look looking at Zach Moss side of things. I'm going to actually pivot on that, and I'm going to take Isaiah Pacheco to go over 67.5 rushing yards. This is a Cincinnati defense that we saw Ramondre Stevenson just run all over the top of. And I do think that we see some of that continue here. So I'm going to go with Pacheco to go over his 67.5 rushing yards.
I'm going to take Travis Kelsey over 50.5 receiving yards. A little bit of a quiet week one. I think they start to kind of get that ship righted here in week two.